Guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Back and good morning. It is time for another episode of Breakthrough with Lew, guys. This week we have talked about fear, what it is, how to harness it. Now I got a question for you. We have come along to the end of the week. Have you harnessed this thing called fear? And you're like, well, okay, maybe. How do you harness this thing called fear, though? Is it something that we have to lock it down and hide it? Do we run from it? Do we act fearless? No, fear, as we talked about, is simply a call to action. Now, whether it's a real call to action or whether it is a false evidence that appears real, as in that over worry type of fear, that's what you've got to decide, okay? So it is time to talk about how did you harness that fear. And if you haven't yet, let's jump in and do it today. All right, I have a story for you, okay? And this goes way, way, way back to when I first learned to auction. Now, some of you might go, Coach, I didn't know you're an auctioneer. Well, yeah, I have been since I've been a child. So to give you a little story, and bear with me on this because I think this will have bearing on you. This isn't about me, but more about how you can take this for you. I'm about 11, 12 years old, maybe, if that. And, I worked the auctions with my family, and I would write the sheets, and I would yep, and, catch the bidders and stuff like that, and run stuff, and, do anything but actually pick up the mic and auction. So I'll never forget, I don't remember what year it was, but like I said, it was about 11, 12 years old, and we're doing this 3-day auction of J&S Wholesale in New York. And my dad looks at me and goes, I need a break. And, he was older, and there was no doubt he needed a break. I said, let me go grab my sister, because she was an auctioneer too, and she's, a bit older than me. So, oh no time, I got to go now. Hands me the microphone and walks away. Okay, well, what am I going to do is the question. That was a defining moment in your coach's life. I stood there with this sea of people in front of me. Well, especially what seemed like a sea of people at, probably 12 years old. And I'm standing there and I'm like, if I do this and I look bad, oh my God, I'm going to be embarrassed. Then this wave came over me, and it's like if I set the microphone down and run away, and mind you, I was a quiet kid. I set this microphone down and run away, I'm going to look like I'm too scared to do this. Well, this was fear either way. It was fear of doing it and looking bad, or fear of looking bad because I'm too chicken to try it. And I think my dad knew what he was doing, but I was like, in that second, I had to make a decision. So I turned that microphone on and I started to do what was called auctioning. And within minutes, actually seconds, I have this crowd of people responding to me. Little old me, okay? I wasn't quite as tall then. I was pretty tall for my age, but I have these people responding to me, and something's happening, and we're going, and I'm like getting excited. And, it's all happening in front of me, and I'm like, wow, this is scary, but this was cool. And I got done, and I was so glad I got back. I was like, thank you. Yeah, let me go to the bathroom now and have a panic attack. But it was something that broke through, that my fear of looking too afraid to try something, or being too afraid to try something, was greater. So I harnessed it than my fear of possibly looking bad. Was I the best auctioneer back then? Probably not. Was it better than turning my back and running away? Yes. Absolutely. Okay? The lesson here is the fear of looking bad, or the fear of making a mistake, is never as bad as the looking back and going, I wonder what if, okay? So knowing that this is better, it's better to try and fail, or try and succeed, or try and learn, or try and grow, any of those, okay? But nothing is worse than the regret of not trying. Now, this is really cool, and I'm going to teach you something in a minute that's really going to put this all together for you. Okay, so thank God I did that then, or thank God he stuck me in that position. Now, a little trailer on that one. A few months later, I'm starting to kind of like this stuff. I'm still getting butterflies. So we're doing this auction at a restaurant. Now, we had this other family, one of the buyers that, I grew up around their kids. They were like family to me, and, and the parents were like my other parents, and really cool people. So our friend is bidding, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell it quick because he's our friend. And my father grabbed me aside and lit me up. He said, what do you think you're doing? You open that back up. And I'm like, but that's our friend. I'm a kid, guys. No malice there. He said, let me tell you something. Ethics comes above everything. You're not doing anybody a favor by shortcutting or anything else. So I learned when you were 12 years old that there are no friends at auction. You can love everybody, everybody's family. But the point is the ethics too. That's just a little side note for today. But in the process of harnessing this fear, don't ever give up your ethics, but definitely step out of your comfort zone. So one more story, and then I'm going to give you a tool that is going to change your life. I'm telling you. So years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins event. Now, I know I'm giving you all my stories here, but there's a reason. Okay, and there's a funny part of this. It was Date with Destiny. No, Life Mastery. So we get out there, and there's always a physical challenge. Like for the Unleash the Power weekend, it was walking on fire. So I go, and I'm like, I wonder what we have this time. And it's like, oh, we're doing the poles. I'm like, okay, this is cool. We're going to climb up something. This is going to be fun. So we get out there in the middle of the desert in the Coachella Valley, and there's these poles. Now, they're not 10 feet off the ground. They're not 20 foot. They're not 25 foot. They're 50 foot minimum. And I'm picturing these poles to have a little platform on the top after you climb. No, this big telephone pole. And I'm like, okay, how does this work? You go up there, you climb up, you stand on top of that telephone pole, and you jump out to this trapeze swinging thing and swing on it, and then come down. I'm like, are you serious right now? What did I sign up for? I'm serious, guys. And this was scary, and people were scared, and I'm sitting there, and I've got a cool lesson on this one too. So I lean back as they're talking to us. It's a beautiful day in the desert. The sun's out. The sun's always out there. I lean back, and I put my hand back, and splat. We're in the middle of this field. And I put my hand back up, and there's brown stuff all over it. And I'm like, is there a bathroom nearby? And they're like, well, there's a tree over there. We warned you guys, hit the bathrooms. We're in the middle of a field, and there's nothing for quite a ways. And I'm like, I just stuck my hand, and they smell it. And I'm like, is this part of the training too? Smell it. Great. You really want me to puke. But I don't want to be climbing this pole and have this stuff flying in my face. And I'm like, oh, it smells sweet. It was a date palm. It was a date that fell off one of the date palm trees. So it wasn't dog poop, long story short. But there again in life, lesson to be learned there is this. Sometimes you're so scared or you're worried about stepping in poop that you miss the date. Interesting. Okay, so I wiped that off on my pant leg. I'm like, all right, no big deal. Now, the secondary lesson here is I'm looking going, I don't want to be the first one to do this because I don't know what to expect. But I'm like, well, when they're telling you line up, get in line, there's people that are, headed to the back. And, there's a couple people running to the front like they're going to prove something. And I'm like, I don't want to be in the back either. I don't want to see everybody go through this hell and, body parts fall off and everything else. I'm like, I'll go third in my group. Everybody's like, oh, why are you doing that? I'm just, I don't want to be the first. I won't be last. The lady in front of me definitely did not look like she was going to succeed. Okay, so she was inspiration to me. She was a lot older than, this is a long time ago. She was pretty overweight. God bless her. I think she made some changes. But so we get there and they start harnessing us up, and one guy goes up, the first guy, Mr. Hero, and he's like, and everybody's cheering him on, and he gets up there and he stands up and he jumps and he misses the trapeze, but we've got the guide ropes and we catch him halfway down and boom, okay. This lady scrambles up there. I'm like, dang, probably doing better than the guy that was pretty fit. So I'm like, all right. She gets to the top and she's like trying to, because you can't, there's nothing to hold on to. You can't hold on to anything once you get to the top. You have to step off these wires onto the top of the pole. Okay, pretty crazy. And somebody screams out, your body knows what to do, just do it. And she lifted one foot on top, the other on top, stood out and stood like a princess, and boom, she hits the thing, kind of flops off of it, bam. And I'm like, wow. Like, you're next, go, walk, climb. And I'm like, okay. And I'm going and I'm going and I'm going, this ain't too bad, just don't look down, don't look down. I'm not super afraid of heights, but it's exhilarating to me. I get up there and I'm like, son of a gun, here we go. And I'm starting to wobble on trying to step onto that thing. Same person screams out, your body knows what to do, just do it. And I step up there and I get on, and my first thing is I'm ready to jump. And somebody goes, don't jump yet. Take in the view. What does this mean to you? And I look over this big, beautiful green field and all these date palms and these huge, gorgeous hotels and buildings in the area and this mountain range in the background. And I'm like, I'm going to live here someday. And I jump and I catch that thing and I start to swing and I lose the grip on one hand and down I come and they catch me, all good. Most exhilarating moment in the world. Okay? So the story doesn't end there. About 10 years later, I'm driving down Date Palm Parkway, I think it was. I don't even remember the name of it. And I look over and I see the poles. And I had to pull over for a second because I got really emotional. I stepped out of my truck and I'm looking and I'm like, I just remembered. I totally forgot that I said I was going to live here one day. And I lived there. And it hit me, the power of goal setting and the power of vision. Even when you're not sitting there writing it down every second and tracking it every second, when you set something in such a key state, especially when you're in a state of fear, you see, that's where you can use this. When you break through a fear, that's almost more powerful than ecstasy sometimes. Not the drug, I'm talking about the emotion ecstasy. I would never ever say use a drug. But I was like, wow. It just hit me at that moment that I had achieved a goal that I had actually forgotten about. So the tool I want to give you today, okay, the tool that you can use is very simple. And I wish I could say that I coined it, came up with it. I do have had my own version of it prior to encountering Mel Robbins. And God bless her, she's awesome. Mel has this book and this teaching. She did her TED Talk. She really opened up her career to the next level with the 5-second rule. I think you've all heard of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Does not give your brain time to talk you out of something. Okay? Interesting concept. To think of how many times in this world we have talked ourselves out of something. Have you ever been in a meeting and you got a good idea and you want to share it, and you're like, oh, I don't know, what if they think I'm stupid, and you don't share it? Or worse yet, somebody else shares something similar and they're all like, hey, you're so smart. And I'm like, yeah, oh God. Yeah, if I had just 5 seconds earlier opened up this and this and this, that would have been me getting the applause. Or it would have been my idea they implemented. Or it would have gotten shot down, and sometimes you go, oh shit, I'm glad it wasn't me. Yeah, but what if it was you? What if it does get shot down? And what does that teach you? Next time, come up with another greater, better plan. Okay? But the 5-second rule, and again, I wish I could tell you it's something I created. Mel Robbins really brought it to the surface. I think that it's been around forever with successful people. They might not have called it the 5-second rule, but they have some sort of 1, 2, 3, go. I got this, go. Mine is I'm a force for God. I do not negotiate and go when I was doing like cold splashes and stuff. Something like don't think, do, whatever it is, but that all takes about 5 seconds. And get Mel's book. I'm going to get it posted, a link to it on the site so that you guys can link through, get it, audiobook or Kindle. I recommend, or even a hardcover book, I recommend reading and listening in unison, not like listening as you're reading, but when you're in the car, you listen to it and then you read those chapters again, because that really drives stuff home. Okay. I share this stuff with you to really help you get the most out of what you do. It takes a little bit longer sometimes, but would you not rather spend twice as much time for 5 times as much result or 10x result than you would just sitting back and kind of getting it? And the thing is, you got to implement this stuff, guys. So if you think of something you're going to do and you go in, you're in a meeting and they start to hit that point where they're going to say, is anybody else, right then and there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I do. Okay, what happens after that? There's no guarantees. You might clamor all over yourself. You might deliver the most exciting concept. They might take it. They might shoot it down, whatever it is. But the whole thing is, you're not doing it because of what somebody else is going to do. You're doing that because you did it. Whether it worked, it didn't work, it got shot down, it got held up, whatever the case was in that scenario, you did that for you to prove you can. And then once you start doing that, sooner or later, no matter what it is, you're going to keep going and going and growing, and stuff's not going to get shot down. If it gets shot down the first time you quit because, I'm afraid they're going to reject me. Oh, shame on you. Okay, if you get shot down and you go, you know what, I'm coming back better next time because I got a point to prove and I got a good idea and I have great ideas and I know this could work, and you get that resilience build in you to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It's beautiful. I recommend you read Mel's book because she gets really, really into it. And I'm not here to parrot her teachings. I use her teachings on that. It's a part of harnessing fear. And this is the cool thing about what we do in our industries of speaking and of teaching and trainings and so forth is, you don't go out and copy anybody. We all work together to gather as much knowledge and then say, hey, there's a piece of Tony's work that works really good when it comes to getting over fear. There's a piece of this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5-second rule of Mel Robbins. This is great. There's something Coach Lew comes up with that nobody else came up with, and vice versa. These are the reasons it's not about one stop. Oh, the only person you follow, you go find a guru and follow him. I don't want to be your guru. I want to be your coach, your confidant, your friend, your teacher, your family, and help you grow. And I'll never be the one that tells you, oh, only do my programs. They're the only things. No, there is so much good stuff out here, guys. What you got to stay away from is the Instagram life where people are, look at me with a selfie of my jet, look at me with my new car, work at home for 5 minutes a day and you'll never have to work again. No, you know what? That even if you did find something that takes you 5 minutes a day and you're making millions, God bless you. I mean, we all love to have that. But wouldn't you still want to be growing, learning, contributing, and stuff like that? You do more than just do 5 minutes of work a day and then lay there on the beach for 22 and a half more hours every single day of your life. Your mind would rot. Okay, so harness that fear. Okay, 2 examples I gave you today. And those are 2 different things where I think that, they were far enough parallels. They're parallel enough, but far enough apart. One was muchly a physical challenge, and the other one was muchly a mental challenge to overcome. But that split-second decision of do it, number 1. Number 2, of there was no easy choice. The easier choice would have been the wrong choice, and both of them would be to have not participated. Okay? The best choice was made that there was growth at the end of it. Wow. Okay, and that's what we're all after. If you're on the Breakthrough with Lew show, if you're in my Coach Lew inner circle, we all know that what we're after is breakthroughs and growth, because that's where all the juice of life is. And giving a contribution. I mean, we talked about the 6 human needs that Tony Robbins coined years ago, and I added the 7th need in there because I thought there was another level to take it to. So what are you doing to harness fear? What could you do this week to go ahead and harness this fear and put a stop to something holding you back? Is it not time to break through that fear? Let's do this, guys. Have an amazing day. As always, live with faith, energy, passion, and always live your dream. Because your God, your creator, however you call him, gave your dream to you. Go get it. Have an amazing day, guys.
Ready to take it to the next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lew himself. As Coach Lew always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.